All right, welcome back, everyone. This is part 2 because of hackers. Who knows? There might even be more. If you hear crazy sounds, you may be literally watching me swat flies as I remove people from Zoom. But I consider it a high-level achievement now to be at that level. Like, welcome. Welcome to the next level, everybody, where we earn it. I wonder how many haters Joe Rogan gets, or eventually,
I'm back.
president.
See,
there he is.
Back.
There's the loser. That's all right. I gave DC my apprentice co-hosting, so keep an eye on that, brother, and you help me remove people if they get wiry. But I see everybody here. Everybody here is a good person. Everybody, yeah, still a good person. So we're the Andrew Ratterman, and we were talking about keys to the matrix, I believe. Or
Yes,
I was describing the code, genetic code, and so I literally saw counterintuitive behaviors that more than a neg, much a higher level than a neg, something that seemed to shift a married woman into like seduction mode, like who had a new child, or would I saw things that made me make the connections between the behavior and the genetic code, that somehow through a behavior or a gesture or some words, you could trigger a behavior that was deep in somebody that they didn't know that they had that. It was literally storybook. It was like a movie. Like if you saw like a top level movie seduction scene of like the badass guy saying that cool line, like that James Dean line or something, but it was happening in live motion in front of me. It was organic. And I saw this many times, and I started to see the genetic code being influenced through communication. And so I came to term this idea, the behavior code. It was the code of behavior that influenced the genetic code. And so later we do Tabiat, which had the basic of be dangerous to your environment, but not to your woman. And that was the basic like code of behavior for an alpha man. And then, so moving on forward, Messengers was still Tabiat. It was just the evolution of Tabiat, and came out with all this occult information and everything. So my curiosity, because this is the Behavior Code podcast, Andrew, is studying Tabiat, Messengers, and just basically AZD in general, and Vince, is what has changed about your behavior with women and dating and relationships?
Well, I do not want to give them ownership of my sexuality, like, you know what I mean? That's pretty much when it comes down to the number one thing that had to shift for me to be fulfilled on the inside, because as we were talking earlier, like the society says to do that, and then it's like, every guy doesn't want to do that, but then they just submit to it. Basically, the courage.
What do you mean? What is that? What do you mean submit?
That is
to
like
your power of sexuality. What is that? I want to know what that means.
It means like getting into a committed relationship with a woman where you, as a man, are only gonna have sex with her only, or only talk to her. Because when you only have sex with her, it turns into not talking to other girls, and then that turns into not talking to new girls, and then that turns into your sexuality just turning inward, and just you. I truly believe every man over time likes himself less if he decides to do that, to be sexually committed to one woman, because then that's where the bad things, well, my personal idea is bad things come, like doing too much porn or just like whatever, where it gets weird because they need something else. And it was just like the first time in my life where I saw someone that was like, that's not the right way. And then it was just like, hallelujah. My soul was like, yes. And it's not, of course, in a way that is proper for everyone, is better for everyone. And of course, I don't know. You just got to keep,
well, that was a huge outburst of energy about, like, it seemed like a sense of freedom that you, it was a sense of control of their sexual power. And how did that come about?
When you say that, help me out on specifically what that is in this context.
Well, that, like, you went from a state of, let's say, giving away power, and then you went to this huge, like, explosive freedom. What idea flashed before your eyes, before your mind about that? Where was the transition point of that, and how did that come about?
Specifically in this moment, or in my life?
Well, what did you think about in this moment? And that was obviously something in the past in your life. Yeah.
Got it. it started with me just like in high school. In my eyes, I had the hottest chick. You know what I mean? I got the hottest chick in my high school, and I dated her like the whole time. So I went like 3 years, and then I was just like, no, she probably doesn't treat me the way I really want her to treat me, you know. But it was what it was. And then I had my next long-term girl like pretty much right after that for like 4 years, and God bless her, you know, she was great. She was amazing girlfriend. But then just like deep in my soul was like, Andrew, like, do you really want to sign up your life with this when you know it's not right? You know it's not good. Here's something that really...
Not love her enough? Like, did you not want to give her your life?
Well, of course I wanted to give her my life, but I didn't want to give her my sexuality. I didn't only want to have sex with her for the rest of my life, as weird as that sounds. And this is what I did as an experiment, which is weird. It was like, it's not weird, but I was like, all right, this is it. I'm done with porn or whatever. I went like 135 days, didn't beat my meat at all. Maybe TMI, but whatever. And then it was like, fuck it, dude. Like, this isn't gonna work. Like, this whole lifestyle isn't gonna work with one girl only. Like, I gotta express this freely. And if a girl doesn't like...
Was that like that was an attempt to like contain your sexual urge? Was that what that practice was, the 130 days?
The 130 days was like, not even to tame my urge, but to just be like, I'm done. Like, I really wanted to, you know, see if you could really do it. Cause like if a guy's with one girl, it's like, is the guy, okay. Then I was asking around, like the guys that have the girlfriends act like they're happy. Are they jerking off to porn or not? Cause if they're jerking off to porn and they're only with one girl, then their life is not right. Something's not right about it, in my eyes. It's like if you have one girl and say, I'm going to be sexually committed to her, but you're jerking off to porn on the side, then you fucked up somewhere, in my eyes.
That's
like,
true. I agree. That's a good way to put it too.
Yeah, it's like, well, you're not being truly honest with yourself. And it's like, just because it's not a real girl, your nature is like, you know, you got to get off to something else or whatever. I don't like Arash says, don't blame me, blame God. I'm just here trying to do what's best for me and the people that I love and that's around me, basically.
Yeah, and how many married guys are cheating or lying or they're completely suppressed and beaten down and they're doing, you know, all kinds of weird things.
And suppressed and beaten down is huge.
Yeah, beat down maybe is an exaggeration because that word
it's not.
Sometimes they are beat down, but they're mentally distraught and they're defeated because of some morals or belief system they've bought into, completely wholly invested into because of childhood. It was beat into them perhaps. So maybe they are beat down and carrying that consciousness. And when they finally find their freedom or their sense of power, then they have this, like, you know, arms up in the air like you did. So let me ask you, what's your... Oh man, I've been muted the whole time?
No. It just, you only got muted when you said, let me ask you. Then as soon as you started asking, it was muted.
So in the words of Jordan Belfort, let me ask you, would you, do you have a girlfriend now?
No. Just got out of one, but it's like, we're hit or miss. It's one of those girls that's like, you know, I love her to be the girlfriend, but just not capable. So, you know, she come around, but it's what it is. So that's what that situation. So.
Yeah, I feel what you mean. You know, it took all of me to have my previous girlfriend with Angelica. It was like, it took all of my tools at my disposal to manage that relationship. And at some point you could say I did start to outgrow it because it got too easy.
Oh, okay.
It got too easy to handle the relationship. And sometimes there were hiccups, and I ended up finding I would be that like fault finder. I'd be pointing my finger and finding faults because I was better. And it's not that, I mean, she's beautiful, and I made her more beautiful even. After 3.25 years with me, she was more beautiful at 30 than she was at 26.
Oh, totally believe it.
And, you know, it's incredible. I mean, so many more dating options actually for her at that point. And, you know, so the point of what I'm saying is that I would find things to have problems with because I didn't have enough problems in life. So I was finding problems in the relationship because it was really a great relationship. The only downside was the distance, and she had a son, so she was fixed. And so that was a big thing that never got handled. Yeah. Had I had the consciousness, I probably would have handled that sooner because in the end, it ended up becoming a problem because it got rushed.
When you say handle, just something on the inside?
I just didn't foresee it. And then handling it, because she had a son, so she was fixed in a location. And so it was a big decision of, she's not going to be a wanderer with me. She needs to move somewhere like a permanent, like, I can move once for you, Chris, but I'm not going to move. Like, I was traveling the country teaching yoga. Now we're on lockdown for 3 months, so it doesn't seem like it. But
yeah.
So I didn't foresee that until towards the end. And then I was trying to rush it because of what I was doing in life. And now my girl, Julie, it's like, there's the challenge. There's the challenge in the consciousness of the individual and the experiences of the past relationships. So there's a little bit of foresight in handling things. Whoever's not muted, oh, maybe that's you, guest. So it's very exciting because some of the philosophies of the relationship in this way of being, it requires such a magnitude of difference of your understanding from the culture's understanding and the sheepish mind about how men and women should relate. You know, I made some aggressive posts earlier this week about it was about Dave Schultz, who was one of the greatest American wrestlers of all time. He actually was an alumni of my University of Wrestling, University of Oklahoma. And he was Olympic gold medalist, everything. Anyway, speaking of Keys to the Matrix was an unlocking of the Matrix, the dictionary of the English language that had been booby-trapped from the beginning when modern English was created after Middle English, Old English, which came from, French, Latin, Greek, and Aramaic. And it's just, it's booby-trapped with things that keep your attention trapped, like simple things, like what's one that you remember, Andrew? Let's give it, I don't want to give away an example. Do you remember any you'd like to give away?
From the Code of the Matrix?
Yeah, Keys to the Matrix.
The stars? Or we could say blessed?
Blessed. Yeah, let's go with blessed.
That's a good one.
To bless someone, be less them.
Mm-hmm.
To bless someone. Okay. So, what was I saying? Keys to the Matrix.
We're talking about relationships for a second.
Yeah.
We were going
pushing forward. The evolution, the matrix of words. Such a difference. Yeah, because you end up getting these high-level datums for how men and women relate, but then you try to apply them in your life, and your life is still enmeshed in the matrix. And so it's not so easily applied. There's a lot of resistance and even internal resistance because you don't have it fully worked out. Like, what's the logic of how to, why?
And then you start saying all this shit and you don't have it every exact thing like sorted away in your mind. And then, like you just said, society isn't really on your side when it
not
comes
on your
to
side. Because, that's what I was saying. Because the people that rule the planet, those were the pen holders, the people that funded the wars and funded the churches and whatever. And those pen holders, for most of history, copied down the ink, the written word. Most people didn't read and write. And so the language got booby-trapped by the few people at the top that had control of the written word. And those get into the 13 bloodlines of the Illuminati. And one of those bloodlines is DuPont, the DuPont bloodline. So this guy, DuPont in Pennsylvania, he started a wrestling team called Team Foxcatcher, which Dave Schultz was the team captain of Team Foxcatcher. Now you get where I was talking about Dave Schultz.
Was that the movie on this?
Team Foxcatcher was the USA wrestling team that DuPont had funded just as a philanthropist. The USA wrestling team went and won the world championship. But DuPont ended up murdering Dave Schultz. And apparently, if you watch the documentary, I mean, from my accounts, he's tripping out on adrenochrome. That's what it looks like. And but what's so interesting, I make this post, right, about DuPont and about Dave Schultz and his wife. His widow, because they're recording her afterwards, she says something like, our path or our purpose became about his success. And she has his baby, and they're traveling the world. He's winning world championships and team captain of like the USA wrestling team that's number 2 in the world behind Russia, and but ended up leading them to winning. And so I take that the video and I record it on my phone and I posted it on Instagram and Facebook, and it's like, here's Nancy Schultz saying our purpose became about his success, and she goes into that because she's like, we're traveling the world, I'm living my dream kind of thing. And so I quote it and I talk about how if you find a higher value man that's more capable of success than you, that's what higher value is. You're more capable of having your baby He can't do that at all, actually. And he needs to find another woman, but that's completely different genes. And his genes are not as important for the baby. I mean, because it's a different thing. Like, as long as the baby's healthy, a lot of people are capable of a lot. There's a neuroplasticity that you can be a high value child if you have the right upbringing and conditions and everything, given that you have the neurology. So the man, it represented this higher level of success that she should be looking up to. And if she's not, she needs a better man. She needs to look elsewhere because she's got the wrong man. If she's looking at a man and not looking up to him, then she's looking to the side or down. Really, there's no to side because no two people are equal. You and I are not equal. Nobody's equal. So you're definitely not a man or a woman that's equal.
Yeah.
What do you think about that, Andrew?
Yes.
Yeah. So you're either looking up or looking down to them. And it's not a bad thing to be looking down. Let's say if I was a man looking at my girlfriend looking down, I'm looking down in the sense of we need this awareness. Let's go. We're going somewhere. Even if we're completely on the same page, awareness of language and everything. Now I'm going to give you the awareness of this vision that we're going to. We're going somewhere. And it's my vision. Why? Because I'm better at achieving my vision. And if you think you're better at achieving your vision, then you should go achieve your vision. And you should find another man that has the same vision as that, and he'll help you make it happen sooner. Or you'll just achieve that vision on your own. And in the meantime, you'll develop an entire skill set that's world-class, top-notch. You manifested your vision, which is a unique purpose for each individual. No two visions are the same, really. And you'll have that whole skill set. And then what? You'll want a relationship. Or you'll go on to the next vision, and you'll become saint of manifesting visions and whatever. But at some point, you'll want a relationship. And how do you relate to men? How do you relate to women? This is the behavior code. So Andrew, in the last few minutes, what can you tell us about the code of behavior between men and women that would be of value to the men and women that watch this on YouTube, iTunes? Leave us a comment, follow, and I'll hand it over to Andrew.
Nice. Thank you. I want to say there is no exact rule book. It doesn't have to be exactly the way society says. It doesn't have to be exactly the way me or Chris said or Arash or Vince says or anything like that. But, you know, as a man, you want to lead. And you want to, like, stick true to your inside of your soul and not sell your soul out for the girl. Because I see a lot of guys selling their souls for some vagina. And everyone, of course, loves vagina. But when you sell your soul,
I love your candor, but what do you mean by selling your soul?
when you make commitments to the person that you don't really mean on the inside. That's what I mean. So, you know, you really don't want to do it, but you committed to a person that you're going to do something, and deep down, you know, it's wrong. And you only did that because you wanted to get some or whatever, you know, it wasn't right. That's where I see, I think, the biggest fault in society and the men that I've seen in life. It's just like, but then again, it's like when you're talking about Arash, when it's like you go to these trainings, you don't know what you don't know. And then I feel like, you know, sometimes people get into commitments that they don't know. And it's just not beneficial for anyone. So just stay true to the soul, even though it's going to be harder. But you're going to thank yourself. That's what I got.
For sure. What advice might you have about how do people stay true to their soul? How can they find what would that mean to them?
I think deep inside, like, you know, like deep right here, solar plexus, like it tell you know what's right and what's wrong. And I think it's already within.
That's
a
trip. Yeah, that's nice.
I
Yeah,
think
that's a great note.
listen.
Yeah. Very cool. How would people get in touch with listening to their solar plexus or to deep within? Like, is that meditation, or what would be your process for that?
I mean, of course you could do a meditation. But I think it's just always there. Like, I don't know, for some reason it's there. Like when you do something wrong, or you did something wrong, you feel it. And you feel good about what you did, you feel it. When you're, whatever emotion you feel. So when you stack on days where you're proud of yourself, you feel it. And when you stack on days that you're like, I didn't want, Yogi Chris to see that of me, or I didn't want Arash to see that of me, like you feel it. It's like, I want to just say, like, just listen, and that it's there. It's there. And for some reason, I feel like this is off topic, but I feel like this stems from it because I had an upbringing of like being forced to go into Sunday school Catholic, and then I was never guilty and still like a young kid. Then I started feeling guilt from that, and I think that kind of builds on the marriage, that whole idea, and then everyone just turning the other cheek and not doing what's true to their soul.
For sure. Well, that's great, man. Well, how can people find you on Instagram?
Instagram. My main Instagram that I post on is freedom4777.
Freedom4777. Find Andrew on
Yes.
Instagram, send him a message, join him in, join his community and connect with him. And he's got some great words of wisdom to share with you. We're going to our next streaming right now. And if anybody online is interested in the next streaming, the Love Spell 2.0 lecture, then send me a message and we'll catch you next time.
Chris, thank you very much.
Hey, Andrew, you're welcome.
Appreciate it. I always get uplifted every time I talk to you.
Hell yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that. And in fact, there's one of those patterns. Someone was asking me about patterns. Hell yeah is one of those things that comes up that is sometimes unconscious, that now I'm becoming conscious of that pattern. And so I'm looking to replace it, right? Because that's how we replace those looping statements. So until next time, every Tuesday, namaste.